Hi guys, just a quick look at my antenna setup and the SDR RSPdx, SDR Play RSPdx Mark 1 and the AOR and the Icom I've been testing over the last couple of weeks. So quick look at my antenna setup first. That was the original intent of the video, and I've picked up this signal on 70 centimeters, so we'll just have a quick comparison on that between the three receivers. So here is my setup as it comes from my loft in a cupboard. This cupboard fronts onto my bedroom where I've got my radio set up on a sort of designated area. It's quite a big room, so like a little Radio Shack area. So this goes on the left hand side, obviously goes to underneath the radios to another four-way switch, which I'll go to in a second. But I've got here a D load, obviously that's my dummy load. Then I've got a collinear, which is my homemade collinear, tuned actually quite well to the 11 meter band. Then I've got a vertical, which is tuned again to the 10 to 12 meter band. Then I've got a discone that's supposed to be 25 megahertz to 1.3 gig, I think, something like that. Dummy loads, this, if anyone's interested, there's the spec on it. It's a decent one, I think. Well, it's decent enough for what I need. It's about 100 watts, something like that. I can't quite see, but yeah, it's quite a decent one. It's the Watson DM-150PL. Probably PL259. Anyway, that's mounted as they suggest horizontally, so that's a good position on there at the top. All the heat will go at the top. It never gets that hot anyway. I haven't got radios that powerful. Anyway, so that's that switch there in my cupboard, which is accessible about, there's my hand, I'm not stretching, so I could probably stretch another hand length above that easily. So it's nice and accessible, but also out the way. Then underneath my radio desk, which you'll have to excuse the mess because I've literally just finished it tonight, we've got receiver 1, receiver 2, receiver 3, receiver 4, just like that. And obviously the input here, same switch. I believe I'm not sure if they're Watson switches, but they're a really good switch. I've got them from down the road, Radio World. It's a really good shop. Okay, so there you go. And I've got the Icom on there. So if I switch this now all the way to my left, you get the 0 to 30 megahertz input on the Icom, which obviously won't do anything because we're above 30 megahertz. Then we get the N-type connector, which is and we're actually duplexing audio on the top radio a little bit. I'll mute that. And we're actually on the I'll just have to go and check. We're on the collinear, which, as I say, I did tune it and trim it to be resonant on the 11 meter band on around 27.2, something like that, 205. That's channel 20 mid block, which is roughly centre of where I would ever transmit, if I transmitted, which I pretty much don't. Anyway, but I found that it really is great on the 70 centimeter band, just because it's a piece of copper hanging up high in the air at the right resonance, obviously. Anyway, so it's doing really well. I think it's supposed to be like a halfway for 11 meters. I'm not overly knowledgeable on radio antennas. I'm very interested in it, but I'm not an expert on it. So I was having a go on it basically, and that's what happened. I tuned it in and trimmed it. Anyway, so it looks like the signal's gone now, obviously. So it's probably the end of the comparison. But oh no, he's back. Anyway. So that's radio antenna switch 1 is the 0 to 30 megahertz input on this. So like all 11 meter stuff. Then antenna 2 is the N-type connector, which is the 30 megahertz plus 2 gigahertz on this radio. And then position 3 is the SDR, which is at the top, which I've just listened to, but now isn't doing anything because the guy's gone. I think this might be the calling frequency, actually. I'm not sure. I'm not that familiar with the 70 centimeter band. Is this the calling frequency? I think it is. I've heard quite a bit of action on this. So they are chatting on it, so I presume it's not the calling frequency. It's quite a popular frequency either way. So I'll keep the squelch closed on that, actually, if it'll stay closed. So now I've got 1 0 to 30, 2 N-type 32 gig, on this radio for the switch underneath I'm talking about. Then we've got the SDR there, which has got, I've just gone into the 1 kHz 2 GHz connection on the antenna A, which I think does the same performance across the range. I believe it does, because I've used both these for HF and VHF and UHF, and that they've been exactly the same. So I've got what I've got there is a SMA male to BNC male, BNC female, sorry, and then I've got that down to the switch, obviously. So that's number 3 in as you twist it on the left hand side when you just put my hand underneath and turn it. Obviously that squelch is getting quite annoying now. Let's get that up a little bit more. Put it about 65 normally for a strong signal. Oh no. Oh, there you go. That probably beats the Icom, to be honest, the audio on this. Yeah, and the receive, to be fair, it's a really great receiver, the SDR Play. Brilliant receiver. Anyway, radio 4, the last position on that switch, it's only a 4 position, is this, which now it's doing duplexing the audio again because it's breaking the squelch. So I have to mute that. Very good audio. I've read, before I bought this receiver, I've read so many reviews on this compared to this, and most of the people said this, the AOR, was better in every department. I would probably disagree to an extent. I find the Icom to be, I prefer using the Icom and I prefer the look of it. I think I made that obvious, but the performance is very close. It's just sometimes the Icom, the AOR will pick up a signal like this, and it'll have much better audio with less interference. So it is legit. It really is a great receiver, this is. Anyway, that's it, guys. Just a quick look at I've just finished my setup on the antennas with these. I'm pretty happy with that. The idea behind it was I could go 4 into 1 into 4, so 4 antennas, 1 being a dummy load. Sometimes I put a transceiver on the desk here. I've done a few videos and a few transceivers. I've got a small collection of sort of classic transceivers, to me anyway. So I've got transceivers to test, so I need a dummy load for that. So I've got 3 antennas plus a dummy load into 1, and then I break it 4 ways into, because this needs, you can't switch the antenna on this. Unfortunately, you can't switch the antenna between which one you want to choose. You have to be 0 to 30 on PL SO239, 0 to 30 megs, and then N-type you have to go 30 to 2 gig. Unfortunately, it's got no internal switch, so I have to feed it twice, which is no problem. So that's radio 1 and 2, radio 3 is that, radio 4 is this, because this does have selectivity of the, a selective antenna, which goes auto, which always picks 1, I believe, 1 or 2, and 3 and 4 and 5, because you can put a different switch in. You can put a dedicated antenna switch, I believe. Is that going to pick antenna 1? Where's the antenna 1? Yeah, I think auto is always 1. Anyway, so that's the intent behind it. So I could use any one of my antennas because they all perform differently on different bands. One's very peaked for the 11 metre band. The discount's good for an all-rounder, and the discount surprisingly is really good on VLF for some reason. I mean, really good, quiet, and a really good receiver. But yeah, I'm going to put a long wire probably as well. Instead of the vertical, maybe, I'm not sure. Anyway, so I can play with it. I can put a 5-position switch there if I wanted to, or split it another couple of ways or something. And that was the intent. So I can run any radio on any antenna, because this radio, as I said, you can't choose the antenna, so you might be listening to something on HF and you need to go to a different antenna and you couldn't change it. Now I can change the antenna which it uses in either port as well. Like, that's a perfect example. 70 centimeters receives really well on the collinear for some reason. Anyway, that's it guys, a bit of a talk about my antennas. The setup I've just changed, I'm quite happy with it. I'll be testing it. I'll be putting a transceiver here soon. And just another quick look at something. My in the background all the time is this thing I built. I've got to actually change the enclosure. I'm not happy with the enclosure. I did a bit of a bodge job, and this is white tape. It's steel. I wanted steel for RF interference, but I might put it into a different box. There's probably not much interference coming off it, or if any. But this is the current, obviously, and this is the voltage there. So it's with these two on these two radios. It's about 2.25, 2.25 amps. At 76 volts. Obviously the voltage will go up if I switch one of the receivers off slightly. The current will go down. Okay guys, that's it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm coming soon with more videos about this this receiver and other radios I've got.